Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, Sigval here and welcome back to another video. In this one we're going to talk about the problem with power creep. What is power creep? Power creep is when something is very strong and the things that come after it need to be stronger and stronger and stronger in order to be relevant. That can happen to a lot of things, but what we're going to discuss here is that characters are doing more and more damage and need to do more and more damage to keep staying relevant. And we're going to get into why that's specifically a problem and at the same time how we can maybe fix it. But first of all, let's talk about why damage is currently the most important thing in Just Mobile. So, each new character that is released needs to be a very good damage dealer or be a very good support character that boosts an already existing damage dealer. Otherwise, people won't be interested in it. Otherwise, I'll make a video on it and say this is garbage, this does nothing in raids and soul raids. And the damage is all that matters in this game, sadly. The only places in the game where there are other things that are valuable other than damage are going to be Arena and Champions Arena. Those two game modes have two problems. First of all, they are found by most people, including myself, a place where you play in order to grind resources and acquire those resources, not necessarily a place that is fun to play. And at the same time, those resources that you grind kind of lose their values the more and more you play the game to an extent, and you can cap out on certain things like arena medals, like arena characters, because we don't get any more arena seasons nowadays. And yeah, the rewards get less and less important, and at the same time they are so easy that they don't require strong characters. A team of Cheetah, Swamp Thing and Firestorm, which goes without saying are one of the worst characters in the game that are fully upgraded at level 70 gears and properly built, can pretty much with proper gameplay take down any team that is currently in Arena and Champions Arena. I mean, not Champions Arena, you might get some crazy teams in a Champions Arena, but in Champions Arena it's a whole nother thing because you can just bypass fights because there's no way you're not gonna find someone who just has a throwaway team that's just easy to beat. And for example, I would love to use Enchantress. I definitely do enjoy the design of Enchantress. I am aware that the Suicide Squad team is amazing in Arena and Champions Arena, but there's no way that I'm gonna go out of my way to grind for a legendary character and also get the gears for a legendary character from a chest to simply use those characters in Arena and Champions Arena, because what I can do is just use the characters that I built anyway for raids and soul raids. The characters that they built anyway for raids and soul raids are gonna obviously do well in raids and soul raids because that's what I built them for. They're going to do well in Arena and Champions Arena. Are they gonna be better than the Suicide Squad team in there? Most likely not, but do they need to be? Absolutely not. They can take down any single team in Arena with proper gameplay. And on the other hand, I could build a team that's very good in Arena, and there are plenty of those, but I have no reason to, because the teams that I built anyway that are good in all the game modes are gonna do just fine there. So the only value that a new character can bring is damage done by himself or by himself being a supporting character. So yeah, since we barely got any reworks to all the old characters, we're basically locked into a meta of damage dealers that's simply something that's better than everything that we had previously, or better than most things that we had previously, and it simply pushes another team out of the top 6 teams out of commission. For example, Sir Bench team and Just League team are two teams that I still use on my secondary account and I still enjoy using, and 2 years ago when Dawn of Apocalypse was released, the first soul raids, those teams were in everybody's top 6 teams. You couldn't have the best 6 teams without having the Just League and Revenge team. Now they're no longer in the top 6 teams anymore, and they've been cycled out, and it's a bit frustrating. I don't mind the best teams changing, but I like them to change in a more interactive way. I would love to have a situation where, oh, over here I can use the Mr. Freeze Ravenwood Beta Club, but over here, other than using that, I can use my Revenge team or my Just League team. But the thing is, the difference is going to be between Sir Banshee that can do, let's say, at peak performance with maxed out artifacts 200 million damage, and then we have Mr. Freeze Press Raven, who not really have maxed out artifacts, but simply by having a beta club can do 2 billion damage. At this point, Black Manta, that I at one point considered to be one of the best, if not the best character in the game, is almost pushed out of the top 6 teams. We simply got better things to use nowadays, and he's just not doing that anymore. And it's getting to the point where the story fights are, for the most part, too easy, and I'm not even one of the best players out there, and I'm not saying they should be harder. I'm just saying there's a lot of damage flying out there. We got Heroic 7. I'm currently in Heroic 7 on most of the soul rates, and if I play it properly and don't fool around, I can kill 3 to 4 bosses in the highest possible difficulty of the soul rate. I don't even have fully maxed out artifacts. I'm quite far away from having the maxed out passive stats. And at the same time, there's absolutely no value on the character's survival rate, because the soul rate artifacts are going to also give you a lot of health. So it's the point where if I'm not fighting a boss that has berserk ability, so he does more damage the more power he gets, I can literally no-brain tank super move with my 0 defense damage there and he will survive. There's absolutely no emphasis placed on survival mode in soul rates, so it does damage and it's good. It doesn't do damage, then it's bad. And it's simply going to get more and more absurd than this with time, because the new characters that are coming need to do damage or they're not gonna sell. We're going to have Zatanna incoming. We also saw the data mines video about Zatanna that I did. I mean, not we all saw, but I think most people are aware of what Zatanna will be able to do. We got 2 things in the game that are good, right? We have more damage or more damage against opponent modifier, and we have percentage shell damage. She does both of them. And currently, I don't necessarily mind things too much the way they are, but it's going to get to a point where it's just going to keep going, keep spiraling out of control. It's going to be more and more absurd, and maybe at some point we can one-shot 6 fights in the highest difficulty of the soul rate, and at that point, what's even the point of that? And I can currently one-shot if I play it properly, and with a little bit of luck, because we have fights like Raven where I have to use Raven Manta. But in theory, I can one-shot every single tier 7, Heroic 7 final boss in one fight. I'm not sure that's necessarily good game design or that's normal. And yeah, how do we fix this? Do we nerf the existing characters? No, I hate that. I hate when people go ahead and ruin something that people have been putting time and sometimes also money into. Add more Heroics to soul rates and tiers to league rates. That would fix it for a time, but at the same time the problem would keep spiraling out of control beyond that, and then we just get more added and more added, and at the end of the day it doesn't solve anything. It just extends artificially the point until the problem will be too big for that thing. The way to fix it is not to go a different path for raids and soul rates, is not to nerf damage tiers, not to stop releasing good damage tiers, is to make Arena and Champions Arena better in terms of gameplay and enjoyability of it, and at the same time make the stuff more worth it in terms of grinding it. You need both of them. They try to make, for example, Arena worth grinding because they introduced a resource that's going to be epic legendary talent medals. Yeah, but that's just half the problem, and not even half completely, because Arena medals are still useless and Arena is still boring to play. I mean, ideally you would get both of them, but make Arena and Champions Arena fun to play, more rewarding, or bring a survival mode to the game, where we would get a team and we would have to survive a lot of fights, kind of something that we have with Champions Arena, but just put more fights in there. Put like 10 fights, put like 20 fights, so that characters are going to be far better if they are tanky, if they are able to heal themselves, and make the rewards for that just good. So that at that point you'll make characters that you have released in the past, like for example the Suicide Squad, more relevant by default, and you can break out of the cycle of continuously releasing again and again stronger and stronger damage dealers. Yeah. But yeah, all that being said, thanks so much for watching. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, let me know in the comments what you think about this, if you think it's a problem or not, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye!
This is the future.